What's up, family? Welcome back. Today we'll be starting in a new book, and that book is Exodus. And I'll be reading you the bigger picture and the takeaway of Exodus, starting with the bigger picture. When God redeemed his chosen people, Israel, through his servant Moses, he entered into a covenant relationship with them and instituted a place of dwelling with them, the tabernacle. Now for the takeaway of the text. Just as God delivered the Israelites who were under the protection of the blood of the Passover lamb from physical slavery in Egypt, so Jesus delivers those who trust in the death of the true Passover lamb from slavery to sin. And the title of this text is A New King of Egypt, starting in verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. Verse 5. Two other scripture passages also say that the number who went to Egypt was 70. The Septuagint at Genesis chapter 46, verse 27, and Exodus chapter 1, verse 5, but not Deuteronomy 10, verse 22. Two Qumran manuscripts of Exodus and Acts 7, verse 14 also mention 75. The Septuagint of Genesis chapter 46, verse 20 lists 5 sons and grandsons of Ephraim and Manasseh. These go unmentioned in the Hebrew text and therefore account for the different totals. And Joseph died, and all his brethren in all that generation. And all the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Verse 7. Verse 7, 12, and 20 use several terms to talk about the multiplication of the Israelites. These terms also appear repeatedly in God's creation and flood mandates in Genesis chapter 1, verse 20 through 22, and in promises he made to the patriarchs in Genesis chapter 17, verse 2. Verse 1 through 7. These verses summarize Genesis chapter 37 through 50, which describes in full how Jacob's family arrived in Egypt, the welcome they received, and the deaths of Jacob and Joseph. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Verse 8. One plausible explanation of Egyptian and Israelite connection contends that Joseph came to Egypt when the native Egyptian 12th dynasty ruled in the Middle Kingdom era. Years later, Semitic foreigners known as Hyksos took over much of Egypt until the time of Chamos, who reasserted Egyptian rule. The new king is not named in Exodus, nor is any other Egyptian king, but perhaps he was a Hyksos ruler without concern for the rights granted to the Israelites by an earlier regime. Another suggestion is that the new king was Amos, who followed his brother Chamos as ruler, reigned about 25 years, completed the restoration of Egyptian rule, and founded Dynasty 18 in the New Kingdom era, a period when Egypt exerted a powerful presence in the ancient Near East. Any 18th dynasty king might have been wary of the Israelites if he associated with them with foreigners such as the oust Hyksos. So when it says this king which knew not Joseph, it means he felt no obligation to honor an agreement entered into by the previous administration. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Verse 9. This is the first time the children of Israel are called a people. They came to Egypt as an extended family, but now Pharaoh compared their numbers with his own. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Verse 11. Pithom is probably Tel El Rataba. Ramses is probably Cantir or Avaris. Both were located in the eastern Nile Delta near the Wadi Tumalat. These were treasure cities, probably in the sense that they stood ready to supply arms, food, and fortification for troops. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor. Verse 13 through 14. 5 forms of the same Hebrew word are translated here with forms of serve or bondage. A different word, burdens, is used in verse 11. The repetition drives home what the Egyptians were doing. Elsewhere, forms of the word translated bitter describe situations of severe hardship and loss in Ruth chapter 1, verse 13. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. Verse 15. In this book that takes a profound interest in identities, ironically the king is nameless, but the midwives who honored God are named. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Verse 16. See them upon the stools is literally look upon the pair of stones, meaning check the genitals. The orders are clear. The midwives must kill Israelite sons and let the daughters live. But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered eerie, the midwives come in unto them. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Verse 8 through 22. These unsuccessful attempts to deal wisely with the Israelites seem to escalate in desperation and decline in wisdom.